Hello everybody and welcome to Wacky Wednesday here on the Son of the Morning Comics channel. No new books to review, so we're reviewing some old stuff, doing some different things on different days. Wednesdays we're gonna look at some oddities, some unique stuff, some different stuff. So what you're looking at here in front of you is Dracula by Don Siegel, with pencils done by Bill Friccio and color by Tony Tellerino. Now, I actually had to Google that because nowhere in this entire book does it mention any of those people's names. But this was from the Dell Publishing Company, and I'm sure that you can see, just from looking at Dracula here, that this is kind of a knockoff of Batman. And that was what my first impression when I first looked at the book was like, is that supposed to be Batman? And yeah, that's pretty much what's going to happen. So let's get into it. So Dracula is he's I guess the I don't know, like great grandchild of the Vlad the Impaler or whatever, I don't know. And he's coming to America. He's on a boat here, and he's seeing these what do they call them here? They call them dirigibles in the sky. I thought these things were called zeppelins. Like, I'm pretty sure they were called zeppelins. I don't know, but they call them dirigibles because that's easier to say, obviously. And so he sees that there's something wrong. And so, he's so taking in a flashback, he's thinking back to when he was in his laboratory, and he had come up with this serum that he was going to use to cure brain damage when he accidentally drank and this was derived from bat tissue, the serum that is gonna save cure brain damage. But instead of drinking his juice, he actually drinks the entire serum of the brain damage juice. And as a result, he starts to change, as you can see. And what does he change into but a bat? And so, interesting stuff. He's accepted his fate, as he says. Weeks have passed, and now he's able to utilize the marvelous properties of his newfound bat form. And he can transform himself at will now. So, that's all good stuff. Cool stuff. So here we are now, back on the boat. So yeah, he's back out here, getting on the boat there. He's just back here. I should point out that he was still thinking that, he shall go to America. There he will have the necessary freedom for his work, for his family name is little known there, and nobody knows the new Dracula. Is his family name is little known in America? Okay. So he's on the boat, and he's having himself a ball on the boat. He's met this nice, pretty woman here. They're out for dinner, but then they start to have some bad weather, and, he turns into his bat form because, that way he can go unnoticed and still be useful. But it doesn't seem to work, and the weather there's something strange about this weather. And so after it clears up temporarily, he's talking to his girlie there on the deck, and basically, at the end of it, he sees the dirigibles again, the zeppelins again, and then he basically tells this girl that he likes and who clearly likes him that he's going to he's getting seasick, and he's going to go into his cabin until he feels better, until the weather clears up. So here's the bad guy. His name is Admiral Maltemps. He has his fleet of zeppelins, and what he's doing with them is he's actually seeding them with gas and other properties to cause these storms. Which, like, I know these days you can, like, seed clouds to, like, make it rain. I didn't even know that. Was that even, like, a thing back then? Like, the theory of it? Because, like, if not, that would be pretty cool that they thought of it as an idea. But perhaps it was already theoretical back then and just sort of happened later. So, like I said, he's seasick. And that gives him time to turn into Batman Dracula. And then he turns into his bat form, and he flies up to go and see what is happening with those, those things up there. He flies into the thing. He very quickly gets caught, but he can defend himself well. And, Dr. Evil over here is not impressed by his entrance into the Zeppelin. They get him. There's enough of them that they can hold him in captive. They put him, I'll show you here. Just, Dr. Evil here says, Dracula, I know this name. I have studied your forebears. Then you are with me. You too have evil in you. In your heart. You shall join me. And then he says, yes, it is true. I wish to join you. I wish to be a partner in your schemes of evil. That is why I stowed away. Obviously, he's lying. But, so now they're friends. Everybody's cool. So then they show him the schematics of, like, the Zeppelin and where they keep, like, the gases and, like, do all the stuff, and basically tells him that his plan is that they're gonna go to the United States and Canada and cause the crazy weather patterns that are going to basically destroy the countries. Basically also tells him that, there's been all of this. Have you not heard of all of this crazy weather that's been going on around the world? He says it was him. It was Dr. Evil. And, he asks him when they're going to put it into practice. He sort of starts to let him know, showing him the map here. I like you're thinking this man is sick. Because here he says it. He says, within 48 hours, the entire United States and Canada will be beaten into absolute submission by a series of unnatural disasters of weather, all created by me. Yes, he's Dr. Evil. And, so eventually, though, Batman Dracula starts sneaking around where he's not supposed to, and they catch him, and they're not too pleased with him, so they throw him into one of the vats of chemicals or something that they're going to use to seed the first storm, to cause the first rain or whatever. And so he has to avoid getting mulched up in these gears here. So he is able to turn into a bat and get out of there. They've already started the seeding, as you can see there. So then, what Batman Dracula does is realizes he needs to get help in America. So the first place that he decides to go for help is the nearest missile site, dressed like a fake Batman. Of course, he doesn't get too far there. The next place he goes is to the military, and they tell him that they should take him to a psychiatrist. And he punches them out and runs away, and he even says that he goes to the local police for help and is turned away. And so they basically tell they tell him here, you should be arrested for impersonating a hero. And he's thinking to himself, they all think it's some kind of joke. It's just kind of ridiculous. So then he decides, okay, I gotta handle this myself. I'm gonna turn into a bat. I see the zeppelins. I'm gonna fly it up to the lead one, and I'm gonna do my best to throw it off course by doing something to its fin or whatever you would call it. Let's see here. And so that doesn't work. That doesn't work. So then what he does is decides just to rip a hole in the top of the craft, and then just jump in. Once he's in, he starts messing with everything, emptying tanks, making things not work. Then he gets to a place where he can control the Zeppelin and makes it so it just keeps flying higher and higher and higher. And, then he releases the tanks, and it causes a whole bunch of heavy snow, which he has managed to figure out how to recalibrate it perfectly to do that. To land on the other Zeppelins, which weighs them down and forces them down to the ground. So, gets to but he still has to deal with Dr. Evil. And so, of course, Dr. Evil's not very smart. You trying to use a gun in a ship that is basically a balloon. And so he goes to shoot Batman Dracula, but Batman Dracula is way too fast for that. And he blows a hole in the side of the ship. And, then they crash. The other ships crash too. Nobody dies. And so, Batman Dracula realizes, I better get back to pretending to be Mr. Card, which was his alias, so I can go into the States. So he flies back, finds his ship, just in time as he flies through the window, and there's a knock on his door, and it's the girl. And she's, you must have had the worst case of, seasickness ever. And then she asks him, what do you do? Are you a dry cleaner, a school teacher, maybe a superhero? Ha 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 ha. So, and if she only knew. And so she wants to go out with him. She even says, look there, we're pulling up to New York. It's not a place you want to be alone in. And then she's here telling him again, I've given you my address and my phone number, please call. And, it ends with, but lonely is the one thing that is not the destiny for Dracula. Hidden in the underworld of the mightiest of nations,
are men who, if they knew him, would certainly like to make his acquaintance before they got before they got rid of him forever. No one thing. Dracula will never be alone. His constant companion is danger, and he is ready.
I think you should just go out with her. Anyway, thank you for joining me here on Wacky Wednesday. This is absolutely, I think, qualifies as something for a Wacky Wednesday when we've got a fake Batman almost looks like he's wearing like a Batgirl belt, and it just weird and ridiculous. And the fact that the writers' names weren't even in the book is, I find, interesting. But like I said, thank you for joining me here on Wacky Wednesday, right here on the Son of the Morning Comics channel. If you like this video, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell, leave some comments down below if you'd like, and you can also reach me at sonofthemorning7 over on Twitter. Later.